My name is Couch Coop, and we are going to have a little look at Battlefield 4 in 2025. We've had a lot of hype around Battlefield 6. I'll show some of the trailer in a second, and it is an open beta to peasants 7th to 8th of August. Bigger name creators than myself have had their codes. We've seen quite a lot of gameplay online. It's looking very exciting. It is a hark back to the original format that we did see in 4. 2042 was a little bit iffy in areas. However, I did review it on both systems, PlayStation 5 and the PC. I will link. I did actually end up getting quite into it, but I was well aware the whole time that this is not DICE's best work. That prompted me to have a look at Battlefield 4 because, yes, you guessed it, we can have it on Ultra. Never seen the game with such high spec. It came out in 2013, and I distinctly remember that campaign not being terrible.
Two more on the left. Good. Drop them. Irish, get up here. Anything still moving? Got them all. Clear.
Don't get me wrong, I was heavily involved in the multiplayer with Battlefield 4. It was one of my first loves for 8th gen when it came to online military first-person shooters. And like some of you, you might have quite a turbulent relationship with that genre through the decades of gaming that we've seen. It used to be my go-to mode for any online gaming. It was always either a COD game, Battlefield, or dare I say, Halo. But you know, stuff changes, you get older, the old Twitch reactions start fading, and you start looking into, you know, games with big amounts of content that is single player and offline, hence the channel. But that doesn't mean that us matured and learned gamers can't enjoy these competitive first-person military shooters, so I always dip into the newer ones to have a good look and to see how aged I've actually become. Some of you might remember my analogy with catching houseflies with your bare hand. The 360 no-scope is the digital equivalent of that.
Careful. We're in the side room.
It is also very tempting when you're knee-deep in the multiplayer of a competitive game like Battlefield or COD to completely ignore that campaign material, and some of them have got absolute gems in them. I did cover Battlefield 1 a few years back, and some of them look especially good on that PlayStation 5. But this is PC, this is Ultra settings, and I'm having a thoroughly good time with it. It's got a lot of dissipation and damage and crumble physics that I clean don't remember seeing when I first sat down with this way back, probably in about 2015, 2016. That was when we all really got into it. I am having some boomer issues with it over on PC, however I cannot unbind some of the mouse prompts for picking things up and, you know, activating vehicles. I have to use half the keyboard and half the joypad. That one I'm sure I'll work out over time. And the section where you have to shoot the helicopter, you know, right at the beginning with the car, that glitched out and the helicopter wasn't dying. I was 17 attempts thinking I had to shoot the pilot between the eyes maybe with that grenade launcher, but no, just a glitch. Restart it if it happens to you.
Ready to engage. Give me a target.
It's got a squad allocation button on the shoulders, which is attack now, various other commands. It's not the most in-depth of systems, but it's pretty cool having some AI with you and using them to support you in a firefight. We will be looking at the online multiplayer in a second. I had, again, a bit of boomer stress with it. There doesn't seem to be too many actual public games available. A lot of it is now, not private server, but, you know, invite and sort of community-based affairs. The game's 12 years old, for God's sakes. I was expecting a lot worse, to be honest. And yeah, I was kicked a few times. It was a bit of a hell let loose situation, but they weren't all talking French, thank God. Performance-wise, we are at 1080 and 60 frames per second, which is a blessing. I've looked at some of the older footage of this game and the campaign wasn't as smooth as that on 8th gen. That's a pretty obvious one, but crisp and smooth and very dramatic. The game leans on big explosions, massive set pieces, a helicopter constantly hassling you, and truckloads of soldiers coming at you, and the dying animations, the bullet impacts on people, really good still. Held up incredibly well. I was impressed with how all that AI behavior was going down. I also, for the life of me, could not find where to toggle the run, so I'm having to click that stick in every time I want to go somewhere and hold it in, or double tap it forward to get the sprint motion. So I'm half using the keyboard, can't run properly, the old Twitch reactions might as well be in the bin, so multiplayer's going to be awesome. What I particularly like about Battlefield games, alongside that amazing destruction, is they always feature land, air and sea vehicles. And this is definitely pushed in the campaign. It takes you right through everything you could possibly imagine, including a jet fighter off that carrier. It's always a real tour de force with machinery, massive guns, even quads get a look in. Got to commend them for that. And again, another reason to have a look at that campaign before everything goes crazy with Battlefield 6 hype. I think that's probably happened already, Coob.
Radar's lighting up. We got hostile air.
Oh, fuck! Got him! Down! Son of a bitch! Fuck! Get up, get up, get up! Get up! Motherfucker's gonna tear this place down!
There is a lot of effing and jeffing amongst them all, I have noticed, against sort of the modern audience games. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's completely in canon with how some crazy mercenary soldiers like this lot would probably converse. And I hope Battlefield 6 sticks to its canons with that. Opening with a massive F-bomb or something, that would just be epic. Quick disclaimer, Sergeant William Dunn, Kimball Irish Greaves and Sergeant Clayton Pack are not mercenaries. They are all Tombstone squad members and legitimately employed by the US military. They have not gone rogue.
Let's go! Wrecker, take the wheel! Fortress, this is Tombstone. Our evac is gone. Need another way out. Do you copy?
The observant among you will notice that the horn went off when I was going to accelerate there, because why put accelerate on the right trigger 2013? Why would you bother doing that? Of course it's forward on the left analog stick. Of course it is.
My wife's gonna kill me. Fuck it, Wrecker, speed up!
It also allows internal and external views on all of the vehicles. I think that is a stroke of genius and so handy for people who have a preference for that sort of stuff. Particularly if you're in a tank and you want to see if there's any like Marines close to you. If you're stuck inside that little window, you have no idea that someone's going to put a limpet mine on your backside. I think EA has had a really strong word with DICE and the developers of Battlefield 6 and have told them not to stray very far from the Battlefield 4 model, and I think that's perfectly reasonable request considering the numbers on 2042. The campaign also opens with a Bonnie Tyler song. Can you believe? That must have cost them an absolute fortune. And whoever made that decision, power to them. I think more of that, more 80s love ballads and classics need to be put into first-person military shooters. I'm being deadly serious. I think some of that is the sweet spot. If you watch any of James Gunn's films, you'll know I'm talking about. Sometimes when image marries up with nostalgia and music like that, it can almost create something else. Hopefully, we'll see some cool music and montages with Battlefield 6. I'm thinking Creedence. Why not? Just loads of Creedence the whole way through the game. Also, it doesn't matter if your graphics card was manufactured nearly 7 years after the release of this game, it can still come out with some hilarious jank.
It's just... close the fucking door! Hey, what? Run floor!
Alright, I think I've kept you long enough. It's time for some of that multiplayer footage. It is terrible. I am warning you in advance, and we will have a look at the Battlefield 6 gameplay trailer, which is just unbelievable. It is stacked with stuff to talk about. Just before I do that though, this dude is trying to unlock a glass door that leads onto a balcony that you could easily just jimmy onto from that staircase. It should have been like a big vault or something. It's ridiculous. You could kick that thing in with your eyes shut. It's about the alarms, Coop. It's about setting off the alarms and alerting the embassy, alright? Okay, so waiting times were horrendous, and also currently, domestically, my internet is ducking out at random times the whole way through the day and the majority of the evening. It's great fun. So I'm never sure if it's a connection issue or whether I'm just sat here on a loading screen. There may not be room in the game I've gone for, or there may not just be anything available within my region. But I did hit some delays with a lot of this. I'll be really keen to hear on the Sony side if any of you go in and see if those lobbies are still healthy. They've probably got a bit healthier considering the hype on the new game. Anyway, I got in and I'm just a bit of an embarrassment really. I'm kind of a rabbit in the headlights. I'm getting all these nostalgia rushes from seeing the buildings again and all the sounds, even the UI is sort of setting everything off, and I'm absolutely bricking it that there's no way I'm going to be able to shoot somebody, A, with the run button still broken, and B, not even being able to pick things up off the ground without having to stretch forward to my keyboard to push a button. But it is just really good to see that everything is working still, and you can dive into this at any time. It is on Game Pass currently at the moment, don't quote me, but it might be on Extra as well, and I think Battlefield 1 are pretty common on both subscription services. But it's that modern war injection that I really love about the Battlefield series, and we didn't quite get there for 2042. Let's hop on over and have a look at that new trailer, because my god, a lot of stuff goes down in that. I heard an F-bomb, right? Everybody heard that. It was beautiful. And one of the things that I've noticed from a lot of the replay footage from people who got the codes, those spoiled little brats known as big name reviewers, be nice, Coop, was the shotgun. The shotgun has turned into like a force multiplier, and I mean the Star Wars force, like knocking people back. It's unreal. I've seen balconies dissipate with absolute beauty. They have definitely upped that destruction engine. This is Red Faction Guerrilla meets Teardown. There you go. There's two great analogies. Red Faction Guerrilla needs to be put back on the channel. There's a remastered one, isn't there? Remastered, a clever play on the popular chocolate snack bar. Ordnance seems to be very popular. That huge drone looked amazing, and we have those ladders, siege style, going up into the sides of the buildings. There is so much going on with this bit of footage. I will try and get into that beta. I will try on the PlayStation 5. I'll join the peasant bread line, pay EA a compliment, something like that. It's steady on, mate. There also appears to be some really good jet action and amazing modern planes in here. I can't wait to see what that full array of military hardware looks like. That bloke getting squashed by the helicopter fuselage, though.
We're taking heavy fire! Request immediate support! Over!
I think the big destructible centerpiece is definitely a fan favorite with the Shanghai maps and of course some of those older classic Battlefield games. And I think we can all safely say that Bad Company was completely badass. I will link my campaign reviews for Battlefield 1 and 5 in the comments. My name was of course CouchCube and I will see you down there. Once upon a time we were falling in love, now we're only falling apart.